Hey guys, FilthyRobot here, back with the Arumba to continue our EU4 campaign. My first EU4 campaign. I'm kind of excited about unpausing.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got like 3 or 30 more issues to handle before we can unpause the game.
So what do I get to call it? So I can't call it my first turn. What can I call it? My first tick? It doesn't really feel as good.
Yeah, you could call it your first month, your first year, that kind of thing. Let's talk about time a little bit in EU4. The game
a month is about what I was guessing before we unpaused.
It's roughly about, I would probably equate a month to about 1 turn if you really needed to make that comparison. But the reason for that is that navies and armies are going to interact on a daily basis, right? They're going to move around, they're going to fight, they're going to have combat phases, and days will pass, and every day that passes, the battles will rage on and troops will die. But big, huge, overarching things happen on a monthly basis, and sometimes, in some cases, a yearly basis. So things like your income, or your Monarch point generation, or other big things like that, manpower recovery, that's all calculated on the first of every month.
Got it.
Longer term things like opinions and relationships between countries sometimes has modifiers that only decay on an annual basis, which would be done on January the 1st. So yeah, a month is probably the closest thing to a turn for you.
Got it.
Okay, real quick, what we're going to do, go ahead and click on Lothian, which is our capital. Do you see Lothian?
I have to probably zoom in. I'm kind of curious, what level of zoom do you play on?
I zoom quite far in. A lot of players actually complain because they want me to zoom out more so we can see what's going on the map, but I like to stay pretty closely zoomed in. Easiest way to find Lothian is just...
I do see it, so I just have to click on the region?
Yep, the province. Yep. You can also press the home key. The home key...
What's the difference between a province and a region?
Okay, a province is a singular entity, and a region is composed of multiple provinces. Well, technically, an area is composed of multiple provinces, and the area itself will then go into a larger area called a region. And then beyond region, you've got...
so these are actually defined terms in EU4?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. So we're going to go to our province capital. Notice how there's like this little castle indicator right in the center of the province?
Yeah, like underneath the army?
Yeah. Yeah. What that is, that's a fort indicator. That's telling you that you have a fort in this province. We have 1 fort to our name, and this is something that's going to help protect our country. However, this is also our capital, so our capital does have a little bit of extra defense just for being our capital, and it costs us 1 ducat a month to maintain the fort. So we're going to go ahead and turn that off for now, because we're not at war.
Really? Destroy castle?
No. Turn it off. Mothball it. So there's a couple ways to do it. Once you have the Lothian province selected, you'll see in the bottom left-hand corner your provincial dialogue. You see above at the very, very bottom of the provincial dialogue, there's like North Sea, then there's a little pie chart, and then above that there's a castle with a 2 next to it, and then above that, a little green check mark. That is your mothballed or unmothballed button. And if you hover over that, you can see, there you go, you just did it. So you can see that it costs 1 ducat per month, and now it's only costing us 0.5 ducats per month, which is really significant for us at this moment. Now, if you're using my keyboard shortcuts mod, you can just press the H key to mothball and unmothball things.
Can I do that? If I toggle that right now, do I screw anything up?
Nope, go ahead and try it out.
Okay.
So, you know me, my hotkeys.
H for mothball, got it. That was stick in memory.
Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't have a mnemonic association with mothballing, but it was one of the only buttons that wasn't being used, and it's used for navies and forts, so you'll get used to it. All right, so we've mothballed our navy, mothballed our fort. We haven't mothballed part of our navy. We could, but we're not going to because we just don't need to worry about it yet. So it's going to save us a little bit of money. Now, there is a drawback to that. Number one being that if we do get declared upon, then we will have a much reduced garrison. Notice how when we mothballed that garrison, our garrison went down to 1,000 troops, down from 3,000.
Okay, but where did those troops go in the meantime?
We just murdered them all. They're just dead.
Oh, so if we touch H, we kill 2,000 people every other time?
Yes, exactly. I've always taken a little bit of an issue with that, how the mothballing your garrison, or mothballing your castle instantly kills the garrison. I don't understand why we just executed 2,000 men, but that's what we've done. And they're gone now.
We just blame it on the English.
Yeah. Those men can't be recruited as soldiers. They can't, come back. They're just dead.
But when we ungarrison, we get them back, or do they know?
Yep.
Does it take time to build up?
I've just turned the mothball off, and so now if you hover over to the right where it says the garrison 1,000.
Yeah.
Now it says maximum garrison is 3,000. The garrison will increase by 240 each month due to the following factors.
Okay, so it does take time to come back.
Yes.
Okay, good to know.
So that's one of the disadvantages to having it mothballed. We're saving a half ducat a month, but now if, say, England declares war on us, then we have to deal with the fact that our garrison is much weaker, and it's going to be easier for them to siege us down.
Got it. And you're just not concerned that our border to England, and we're just insulting that we're stealing their shit with privateers right now. We just rivaled them.
Yep.
And you're not worried they're going to war us. Why?
Primary reason is that Scotland's a little bit special at the beginning of the game. If you right-click on our country, You'll see the diplomacy interface for our country now.
Yep.
And now go below the enemies and rivals flags. And now you see these lines of things. We've got improving relations with France and Castile. Remember when we did that last episode? And you see that little lock icon with the dove.
Yeah.
Guaranteed by France. So France is not our ally, but they're guaranteeing us. They're basically saying anyone who messes with Scotland has been a mess with France. And
you're saying historically England has never been willing to war with France.
No, they're going to. They will definitely. England and France will always fight each other. And the reason for that is actually very straightforward. Go ahead, press the E key for me.
E? Okay.
E, yep. That's the diplomatic map mode.
Green.
Yep. Go click on France. Left click on France. Anywhere in France.
Yeah.
So France should be in green now.
No, it's not. Let me drop out of that menu. Now it's in green. I had to leave the other menu that we're in.
Yep. Okay, so you see France in green, everything else is in gray, and there's some green dashed lines.
Yes, maybe. I don't know about green dash. Yes, I do.
Yes. So what we're looking at, the diplomatic map mode right now, says that the green is owned by France. This is France's territory. The green dashed lines means that France doesn't own that land, but they have core there. It means that they consider it to be one of their provinces.
Okay.
So the fact that France and England both share some cores, meaning that...
Oh, if I click on England now, I can see that they care about it too. Oh, because it's actually English.
Yeah, notice how England has a core on Armagnac.
Yeah,
in southern France. So these guys are never, ever going to like each other. They're also historical rivals, which means that they automatically start off rivaling each other, no matter what. They will never not be enemies in an EU4
but I guess that was
game.
my point. Like, if England probably is going to go to war with France anyways, why the hell do they care that France is guaranteeing us?
That's a good point. Basically, because France is stronger on land, they're not going to want to declare war on us because they're going to take a look at our army size, the French army size, and they're going to say, well, that's a lot of troops, and that's scary.
Even though we're cut off from France, it probably, I mean, France has to go through England's navy to land troops to help us, right?
Yes, and technically, if England were a player, they would know that they have a naval superiority advantage that basically nullifies the French land troops. But AI is not as smart as you might want, and also they're just not going to declare.
No, that was a reasonable explanation. The explanation made sense there. Basically, the land army size of France is deterring England, even though they can't really help us with that because the AI doesn't know that. Got it.
Yep. And then one other factor is that technically, because our capital is also Lothian, we also get that guaranteed level 1 fort for free, which means that we're not actually running the full risk of having a fully mothballed fort on the border of an enemy. Okay. If our capital wasn't there, we would have 0 garrison and the fort would fall within 1 month, which is very bad. But because of our capital, it's actually a little bit safer. So, okay, one last thing to handle, and then we can actually unpause the game. You see the top...
Oh, you think I'm done with questions? I'm not guaranteeing any unpauses this episode.
Okay. You see the third alert, the third green alert called No Mission Selected?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead and click on that button for me.
Okay.
And now we have to deal with our missions interactions. So at all times, you're going to be presented with as many as 3 missions to choose from. The mission system is basically a couple things. Number one, it's to guide new players in having a goal of like, what should I do next? And number two, it also is designed to help the AI also kind of do a few things. Number one, it'll force them to establish rivals, and it will also historically kind of guide certain nations in the right path, because Paradox has actually set it up so that some nations get special missions that's only eligible for them, and then it will drive them to play in a certain way, because this is kind of a history simulator. It's an alternative history simulator, but they do want to kind of mimic real-life history.
Gotcha.
So we have 3 choices. We can improve our prestige. If you hover over the little question mark, you can see what the actual criteria are to succeed in this mission.
Okay. So the red X means that's something we would need to meet but haven't met yet.
Correct. We would need 50 prestige to have improved our prestige. If you hover over the little envelope with the green check, you can see the actual thing you earn by having done the mission.
And I'm unclear on what prestige is yet, in the sense of, is it a resource that we spend? In other words, is accumulating 50 going to be something we could do, but we might not want to because we might want to spend it incrementally before we get to 50? Or is it just a score we reach having done something else? Okay,
prestige is a sliding scale from -100 to +100. If you hover over prestige at the top of the screen, go...
which one is it?
2 to the left of your power projection.
2 to the left of my power projection, got it.
So prestige is currently at 6.94, and it's decaying at a rate of 0.3 yearly. So over time, it's just going to trend towards 0. Okay. And the higher your prestige is, the more good things you get, and it affects a lot of other stuff, which we'll talk about as it comes up. Negative prestige is generally very, very bad, and something you want to avoid. Improving our prestige, that mission is going to be very difficult to obtain.
I was going to say, like, we're at 6 and we're going down, or at 7 basically, and going down. We would need 50.
We would have to win probably two to three solid good victory wars to get to 50. So it's very unlikely to succeed.
All right.
Next mission, solidify our papal relations. We're a Catholic nation, so basically what this is saying is, hey, the Pope doesn't like you very much. And actually, if you hover over where it says solidify our papal relations, it'll tell you a little breakdown for why. We're a proper Catholic state, but our relations with the Pope are not at the best. As the papacy wields considerable power, it would be wise to improve the situation. So just basically go and improve relations with the Pope. And if we did that, we would get yearly papal influence, which is a resource we can spend.
And we already sent out diplomats. So I mean, the only way I know right now, after 2 seconds of playing this game to improve relationships is to send diplomats that literally improve relationships. We've already deployed both those.
Correct. Now we could always retract those diplomats at will, and we could send them to the Pope if we decide that's the right mission.
Fast? Do they instantly appear places, or do they have travel times?
Interestingly, they do instantly appear places, but they have return time. Notice how they're instantly in France, Castile, and in England doing their tasks. But if you retract them, depending on the distance from your capital, it will take longer to recover.
So my guess then is that you don't actually want us to do this one because you've already given our diplomats to other locations or encouraged me to put them in other locations.
Correct. And also, I'm very much more interested in this next mission.
Okay.
Which is an example of a tag-specific or country-specific mission that we are given because we're Scotland to facilitate war between us and England.
Any way I can tell which ones are country-specific?
They will usually have a different text to them, and you will not have recognized them while playing any other country.
Okay.
But other than that, no, not really.
So we are at peace with England. That's part of this. Mm-hmm. No province in the Highland area. No province in the Highlands area is not owned by England.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that mean all provinces in the Highland area must be owned by England then?
No province in the Highland area is not owned by England. This whole double negative thing is just the way that the code is written. So yes, you could just do a double negative reversal. You could say any province in the Highlands area is...
Yeah, but I thought the Highlands were our land, are they not?
Exactly.
The Highlands.
Exactly. It's saying it's a double negative, so it's saying all provinces in the Highland area need to be owned not by England. Like they can't own any of our land, basically. We have to have won our first war against England to succeed in this mission. We have to take over at least one province in the Northumbria area. If you want to see...
That still doesn't... If you parse the double negative and just remove both the negatives and make that a positive, it says provinces in the Highland area is owned by England. That still doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay, I get that. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Mentally, I'm like, all right, I assume we don't want them having our land. Okay.
Yeah, the green ones have already been satisfied, so let's just look at the one that's red and just focus on that.
All right.
Right? We've got 3 little green asterisks saying those are already met, so just don't worry about those. At least one province in the Northumbria area needs to be owned by us, and then we've succeeded in the mission. Okay. So let's take a look at the Northumbria area.
Yeah,
go ahead and press T. Press T twice.
T twice.
That'll bring up your areas map mode. And then Northumbria is this adjacent area directly next to us. It's 4 provinces: Cumbria, Northumberland, Yorkshire, and Lancashire.
Wait. How do I see? I see it as one. I only see political boundaries for one entity here. So how do I get 4 political? 4. You said there's 4 boundaries in there.
Well, there's 4 provinces in the area.
Yeah.
Click on any one of those 4 provinces, and it's going to isolate the colors for just that one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe I hit T1 too many times.
Well, let's see.
Because I get either a dark blue mini-map or I get a gray mini-map for that. Or not mini-map, a gray map or a dark blue map. What color is Scotland up for you right now?
Gray.
Okay, so we're on the gray one. And I can click on Northumberland here.
Uh-huh.
Northumberland, I guess it might be, if that's not actually a space. And I just see, I don't see, where are you seeing the sub-regions in there?
Zoom in closer.
Okay, I'm zoomed in as far as it goes right now.
Okay, can you see the provincial names? Northumberland, Yorkshire, Cumbria, and Lancashire.
Yes.
Those are the 4 provinces that make up the area of Northumbria.
Oh. Okay, so Northumberland is a subset of
this area. Yes. And again, the mission wants us to own at least one province in that area.
All right.
Now, there's a side effect to this mission that you're going to really like, I hope, and that's that when you take this mission, it's going to give us something called claims for free, which is awesome. And
what do we normally spend to get claims?
To earn a claim, you need to spend, if you have no claims on another nation, you have to build up a spy network, which we just started doing, or we haven't unpaused the game yet, but we've tried to build up a spy network against England. It takes 20 spy network strength to fabricate your first claim, 25 for the second claim, 30 for the third claim, 35 for the fourth claim, etc., all the way up to...
How do I see how much progress they've made, the spies?
If you right-click on England,
okay.
Go to the right of where it says King Henry VI of
yeah, got it.
Okay. Keep going until you see there's like 2 little faces with the number 2, and then below that there's like some books, and then there's a little guy with a
eye patch.
Eye patch. That's your spy network strength. It's currently at
Our
size
spies
0.
are going to be pretty conspicuous if they all have eye patches.
Indeed, yeah. So we're currently at 0, and it's going to go up on a monthly basis, as we talked about.
Their country is defended at 101.1% efficiency.
Correct.
That's really fucking efficient. More than 100% efficient.
Yes. Meaning that they're just better than average. Slightly. Because they have a little bit of prestige.
Okay.
Okay? So there's one side effect, right? Go ahead and take the mission to advance the frontier.
Got it. Advancing frontier, and I click the green, the message with the green thing. Okay.
Yep. All right, so we've now accepted this mission, and notice if you press the E key, that our land is in green, and now we have these yellow dashed lines.
Yeah, we get the yellow stripies.
These are claims. Claims is basically, we've said, hey, that land belongs to us. We should be able to take that.
I noticed the color is different, but the stripe is the same for the claims that France had over the northern regions. So is it always going to look like this style thing for a claim?
Yes, that's a great observation. Okay. So there's a big difference between the yellow stripes and the green stripes. Yellow stripes are claims, green stripes are cores.
Okay.
A core is stronger. A core means that you actually have owned the land and taken the time to core it at some point in the past.
Okay.
Yellow means that you don't have a core there, but
what does coring land mean? Like, is it a term I just don't know, or is that something specific to the game?
It's just saying like you've owned it for a period of time, and it's been in your country long enough to say that, hey, this is actually supposed to be ours, and it's part of our heritage. It's part of our country.
Okay.
It's something you have to pay for, and it takes time to do, and we're going to do it at some point in the near future. Okay. Maybe not in this episode, but so anyway, we've just gained 4 free claims, which is pretty awesome, because that means that we don't have to actually pay the spy network strength to buy them. Nice. So, all right, so that's the last thing we needed to do then to actually get where we are, and then there's one final.
I gotta find another question. You're saying? Oh no, there's one final.
One final thing. Press F1, and then press the 4 key.
And then 4. Okay. It brings up our economy.
Our economy tab. This is where we can see on the left you see a breakdown of your income. On the right you see a breakdown of your expenses.
Disappointingly, only to 2 decimal places.
Yes, indeed. Because, that 1,000th place is so important. But we can see that we can debase currency, take loans, do all kinds of other stuff. We're going to do one thing right now, which is that since we're not at war, we're going to not pay our troops. You see that slider?
What?
Yeah, totally. You see the slider? Second one from the bottom, army maintenance.
Yeah.
Go ahead and grab that slider and just slide it all the way to the left.
Okay, we're gonna skimp. We're just pissed off and going in like 5 different ways.
Oh yeah.
And now we're gonna skimp on army.
Yeah, we're gonna steal all their money. Notice how much money.
The greed is real.
See how much more money we're making? 2.46 ducats a month now.
Okay.
So, army maintenance is something that you don't have to do. When you reduce it all the way to 0, you're not paying them 0. You're still paying them 50% of the normal amount. But because you're not paying them, they have almost no morale. Morale is required.
They're probably not real thrilled.
No, they're not happy about it. Morale is required for troops to fight well. They'll get shattered and they'll get killed very easily.
So tell me about morale. Does negative morale accumulate for the longer we do this, or is it something that's just a one-time thing?
No, it's not negative morale. In fact, when you have your army maintenance slider all the way down to 0%, the lowest their morale can be is 0.51. So go ahead and select our army, the 13 troops now with a little yellow bar next to them. Notice how a second ago that was green? In fact, you can experiment here with this. Slide the army maintenance all the way back up to full.
I've left that screen, so it was F4?
F1-4.
Okay, so I'm going to slide that already back up. Oh, just kidding, guys. All right.
Yeah, see how it's still, now the little thing next to their number is fully green?
Yeah, the bar. You're talking the bar here.
Yeah, the green bar is completely green. That means that their morale is full. If you select the army, in the top left corner of the army interface, you can see a morale bar. See how it's fully green in the top left corner?
Yeah, we're missing 0.02 morale, so don't lie to me.
Yeah, it's almost full, right? So what likely happened there is that because we gained 8 power projection, because we're privateering against England, we
our maximum morale went up.
We've gained a little bit more max morale, which is why it's not exactly correct. So because we have nearly full morale, the bar is completely green. And the reason why it changed from green to yellow when we reduced army maintenance down to nothing is that that's an indicator that they have very, very little morale, and they are at the bare minimum that they could be, which is 0.51. An army has to have at least 0.5 morale to be allowed to move. So this sets them to the bare minimum, and we still have to pay half the cost to have these troops. So we're trying to save up some money so that we can use it before our war. Now we could just immediately declare war on England. We would get our butts kicked, so we're not going to do that, but we could. Okay. So that was the last thing we need to take care of. Because our army is at 0 morale, where would you think is a logical place to store this army if we're worried that England might attack us?
Hold
week.
minute.
A week.
On the border, because we don't. Oh, you're thinking the opposite. You think it's a weak army because it has low morale. I was worried about the movement element that you were stressing a minute ago. So you're saying somewhere not near the English border, so we don't get surprised. We have time to get our morale back.
Exactly. Let's say he declares war, and our army is sitting on his border with 0.5 morale, and he just steps in and just smashes the crap out of it, and they get stack wiped, and they're dead. Then we would have no army, and we'd be in a very, very dire situation.
Let me get this straight. The brilliant commander's suggestion then is to lower our army's pay, mothball our castle, piss off England, and then march our army as far away as possible from our capital as possible.
Absolutely.
Got it.
10 out of 10 game opening right there. So we're gonna grab them and just right click on another province like Sutherland.
Okay.
And send them up that way.
Why so far away? Okay, I assume. Actually, I don't know this, but maybe this is a good thing to talk about. How quickly do armies move in general?
They move dependent on a couple of factors. So there is an internal element that you can't actually see that determines distance between provinces. This is a value that you cannot actually look up in the game itself. So sometimes moving from, say, Lothian to Ayrshire, let's actually look at it. Notice I've selected the army and I've told them to go to Ayrshire.
Yeah.
See how it says we'll arrive in Ayrshire. Hover over the green 13K of the army. We'll arrive in Ayrshire on 12 January of 1.
Yeah.
It takes 1 day for that to actually calculate out. It's going to be 12 of January is they're going to get there. Well, actually, if you unpause it, I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be, but it's 12 of January. It's that many days. Basically, it's saying it's going to take 11 days to get there. It's assuming the game's date is 1 January 1 right now because we haven't unpaused yet.
Okay.
So it's going to take 12 or 11 days to get there. It's going to take 8 days or 7 days to get to Fife. So Fife is closer than Ayrshire. And again, this is an internal thing that you can't actually look up.
Okay.
Armies all march at the same speed regardless of the composition. They can be sped up through a couple different things. Having a leader in charge with maneuver value, which we'll talk about further in the future. Okay. Doing something called forced march can speed them up. And that's about it. So the reason why we're going to go all the way up to Sutherland is twofold. Number one, we want to be as far away from the border as possible so that we can have more time to recover morale if we do end up at war. We don't want to go all the way to the Western Isles because notice that little dashed line between Sutherland and the Western Isles?
Yes.
That little subtle dashed line indicates that there's a strait crossing there.
Okay.
A strait crossing can be dangerous for you. So long as you control both sides of the strait, you're always allowed to march between them. But remember, England has a very strong navy, historically.
Got it.
So
what's the red dashed line?
Red dashed line means it's a strait you cannot cross.
Why?
Because
we don't have military access on the other side. Yes. Says it on it. Okay.
We're neutral to Norway, and we don't control both sides of the strait, so we're not allowed to march across it. Okay. So we're going to go up to Sutherland.
Sounds good. So you've assigned the march order?
Yes.
Okay. I do have another question then, which is that we have advisors unpicked still on our little green scorecard of things that we need to do this turn.
Yeah, this turn. Okay, so here's the thing. Do you want to play greedy or do you want to play smart?
You've already just made like 5 greedy decisions. Are we at a point where we make that decision? I think it's been made.
We should play greedy. I mean, you should always play greedy. Monarch points are this thing that we still need to talk about. They are a very finite resource. They're incredibly valuable. And even though we have no money at all, we should probably hire advisors. Yes. But we'll talk about that, I think, in the next episode.
Did we make it a second one without unpausing?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Yes!
Good job. You were trying, weren't you, with your questions? I knew it. I should have known.
These were good questions. These were reasonable questions to be asking in this scenario. I wasn't going out of my way to slow it down, but I think there was stuff we need to know.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, all right. Well, we'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. As always, thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.
I'm really looking forward to seeing the first tick.
Yes, me too.
See you guys soon.
See ya.